The Hegemony battle cruiser Eternal Dawn emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Sol system, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in patterns that had inspired awe and terror across 1,000 worlds. High Admiral Zextal stood on the command deck, all four of his arms clasped behind his back as he studied the holographic display of the unremarkable yellow star and its planets. Preliminary scans of the third planet show significant industrialization, High Admiral, reported Survey Officer Mira. Her tentacles flowed over the sensor arrays with practiced precision. Population approximately 8 billion. Technology level consistent with early space-age development. No signs of quantum technology or faster-than-light capability. Zextal's upper lip curled in what passed for a smile among the Varareks. Another primitive world for the Hegemony to enlighten. Their database had marked this system for routine inspection centuries ago, but the Expansion Council had deemed it low priority. Now, with the nearby sector's resources depleted, even backward worlds warranted attention. Launch the standard greeting probe, he ordered. Let's see how these, humans, react to their first contact with galactic civilization. The probe, a sleek construct of crystal and light, detached from the Eternal Dawn's hull. As it accelerated toward Earth, its quantum transmitters prepared to broadcast the Hegemony's traditional message of peaceful submission or absolute destruction. It never arrived. High Admiral. Myra's tentacles writhed in agitation. The probe, it's gone. Destroyed. Zextal's four eyes narrowed. No, sir. It disappeared. No debris. No energy signature. It simply ceased to exist. Before Zextal could respond, every display on the command deck flickered. The ship's quantum AI, theoretically unhackable, fell silent. In its place, a single message appeared. This is the Sol System Defense Authority. Your probe has been contained. We acknowledge your presence but do not recognize your authority. Please maintain your current position for diplomatic contact. Any advancement toward Earth will be considered an act of aggression. Zextal barked a laugh. These primitives dare to give us orders. Show them what happens to worlds that don't understand their place. Target their largest satellite installation. The Eternal Dawn's main weapon, a crystalline spire that ran the length of the ship, began to hum with gathered energy. But before it could fire, every officer on the deck gasped in unison. Where empty space had existed moments before, ships now hung in perfect formation around the Eternal Dawn. Not the crude chemical rockets their scans had detected, but vessels of impossible design. They seemed to bend the light around them, their hulls constructed of materials that defied the ship's sensors. A new message appeared. The Hegemony's reputation precedes it. We've studied your expansion patterns. Your tactics. Your technology. We chose isolation not out of fear or ignorance, but because we needed time. Time to prepare. Time to build. Time to ensure that when we finally revealed ourselves to the galaxy, it would be on our terms. Your probe wasn't destroyed. It was transported to one of our research facilities. In the 30 seconds we've had to examine it, we've already identified 17 critical flaws in its quantum matrix. Your technology is impressive, High Admiral, but it's built on foundations you've never questioned. We questioned everything. As if to demonstrate this point, the human ships began to move. They phased through space in ways that violated every principle of physics the Hegemony understood. No hyperspace windows. No quantum tunneling. They simply shifted. Impossible, Zextal whispered. Their level of technology, they couldn't have hidden this. We didn't hide our technology, High Admiral. We hid our understanding. Every primitive satellite you detected serves a dual purpose. Every clumsy rocket carries systems you can't comprehend. We've been watching, learning, and preparing for this moment since we first detected your scout ship centuries ago. More human vessels appeared, emerging from what the sensors insisted was empty space. Each one represented technology that shouldn't exist, couldn't exist according to everything the hegemony knew about physics and engineering. This is not a first contact scenario, High Admiral. This is a demonstration. You see, humanity learned long ago that true peace comes not from submission, but from strength. We could have revealed ourselves sooner. Could have joined your hegemony or fought against it. Instead, we waited, building our strength, perfecting our understanding, until we could be certain that when we finally showed ourselves to the galaxy, it would be as equals. Or perhaps, more than equals. The human ships began to emit energy signatures that made the Eternal Dawn sensors scream in protest. Patterns of light and gravity that suggested capabilities far beyond anything in the hegemony's arsenal. So now, High Admiral, you face a choice. You can return to your council with news that will reshape their understanding of the galaxy. Or you can attempt to prove your dominance. But before you decide, remember, we let you find us. We let you approach. We let you believe we were primitive. What else have we let you believe? Zextal stared at the impossible ships surrounding his command, and for the first time in his long career, he felt something alien to his species. Fear. The silence on the Eternal Dawn's command deck was broken only by the soft hum of systems struggling to analyze the human vessels. High Admiral Zextal had faced rebellion worlds, pirates, and even the dreaded Swarm, but never had he encountered a species that made his battle computers malfunction by their mere presence. High Admiral, Tactical Officer Ven's voice carried an unfamiliar tremor. I'm detecting energy signatures from Earth's surface. They're activating something. The holographic display showed a web of energy spreading across Earth's surface, lines of power connecting points that had appeared dormant moments ago. What the hegemony had dismissed as primitive power plants and industrial centers were transforming, revealing their true nature. Show me, Zextal ordered, his 4 arms gripping his command station. The image zoomed in on one of the locations. A seemingly ordinary mountain was shifting, its surface rippling like liquid metal. As they watched, the mountain split apart, revealing a facility that dwarfed the Eternal Dawn. Similar transformations were occurring across the planet's surface. A new message appeared on their screens. We apologize for the theatrics, High Admiral, but your species has a documented history of understanding power only when it's demonstrated. What you're witnessing is the activation of Earth's defense grid. We've maintained this facade of primitive technology for centuries, building our true capabilities beneath the surface of what your scouts would expect to find. The mountain facility launched something, a vessel that made the Eternal Dawn look like a pleasure craft. Its hull was dark matter given form, engines that bent space itself, weapons that the hegemony's sensors couldn't even classify. Impossible, Survey Officer Mira whispered, her tentacles trembling. Their energy output, it exceeds the total power generation of the entire hegemony. More facilities were revealing themselves. Each installation housed technology that shouldn't exist, couldn't exist according to everything the hegemony understood about physics and engineering. The humans hadn't just advanced beyond the hegemony, they'd taken a completely different path of technological evolution. Your scientists theorized that quantum mechanics was the peak of technological advancement, the human message continued. We discovered it was merely the beginning. While you built your empire on the principles of known physics, we explored the spaces between theories, the gaps in understanding that your species deemed impossible to bridge. Zextal watched as his tactical display tried to make sense of what it was seeing. The human vessels weren't just ships, they were mobile singularities, each one capable of rewriting the laws of physics in its immediate vicinity. Sir, Ven reported, his voice barely a whisper, I'm detecting similar installations across their solar system. Mars, Venus, their moons, they're all defense platforms. The human message anticipated their realization. Yes. We didn't limit ourselves to Earth. Every celestial body in our system serves a purpose in our defense network. The asteroid belt you dismissed as natural debris? Each piece is a self-replicating autonomous unit. The comets your scans detected? Mobile fortress factories. As if to demonstrate, one of the larger asteroids began to move. Its surface cracked, revealing a core of technology that made the Eternal Dawn's quantum drives look like primitive combustion engines. The asteroid transformed, unfolding like a mechanical flower, becoming a station that rivaled Earth's largest installations. "We could have revealed ourselves at any time," the message continued. "Could have joined your hegemony or challenged it openly. Instead, we watched. We learned. We prepared. Every scout ship you sent gave us more data. Every transmission we intercepted taught us more about your capabilities and limitations." The transformed asteroid now hung between the Eternal Dawn and Earth, its true form defying conventional geometry. Energy patterns rippled across its surface in ways that made the hegemony's sensors shut down in self-preservation. "Your arrival today wasn't a surprise, High Admiral. We've been monitoring your fleet's movements for decades. We know about the resource depletion in nearby sectors. We predicted when you would finally turn your attention to our primitive world. The only variable was how you would react to the truth." Zextal's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep distress among his species. Everything he knew about technological progression, about the natural order of civilization's advancement, was being challenged. The humans hadn't just surpassed the hegemony's understanding of physics, they'd rendered it obsolete. "So now, High Admiral, you have a decision to make. The hegemony has always offered worlds 2 choices, submit or be destroyed. Today, we offer you a third option, learn. Accept that your understanding of the universe is incomplete. Acknowledge that there are paths to advancement you haven't considered. Choose cooperation over conquest." The human vessels shifted position again, creating a formation that somehow existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. It wasn't just a display of power, it was a demonstration of how limited the hegemony's perception of reality truly was. "Your orders, High Admiral?" Ven asked, his voice steady despite the fear evident in his posture. Zextal stared at the impossible fleet surrounding his ship, at the transformed solar system that had revealed itself to be the most formidable defensive network he'd ever encountered. For the first time in his career, he faced an enemy that had already won before the battle began. He had to make a choice that would change the course of galactic history. But first, he had to understand, what else had humanity hidden? High Admiral Zextal received the transmission request from Earth with what remained of his dignity. The holographic projection materialized on the Eternal Dawn's command deck, revealing a human figure that seemed deliberately ordinary, an older female, gray-haired, wearing what appeared to be simple civilian attire. "I am Director Helena Chen of the Terran Defense Initiative," she said, her voice carrying the weight of authority without aggression. "We believe it's time to share some context for what you've witnessed today." Before Zextal could respond, the ship's quantum displays transformed. The bridge crew watched in stunned silence as humanity's true history unfolded before them. "What you're seeing," Chen explained, "is the archive. 3,000 years of human preparation for this moment." The images showed vast underground cities extending deep into Earth's crust, facilities that had been operating since before the hegemony's first scout ships entered the solar system. But it was more than just military installations, they were watching the systematic development of technologies that shouldn't have been possible. "Your civilization developed quantum mechanics and assumed it was the foundation of advanced technology," Chen continued. "We discovered it was just one layer of reality. Beneath quantum mechanics lies a deeper framework of universal laws. We call it deep physics, the study of reality's source code." The displays showed human scientists working with mathematical models that made the hegemony's most advanced theories look primitive. They weren't just manipulating matter and energy, they were rewriting the fundamental rules of existence. "While your empire expanded through conventional space, we explored other dimensions. While you perfected faster-than-light travel, we learned to step outside the light cone entirely. Your ships tunnel through space-time, ours edit it." Zextal watched as the images revealed massive experiments conducted in secret beneath Earth's surface. He saw humans systematically deconstructing captured hegemony technology, not to copy it, but to understand its limitations. Every time your scout ships passed through our system, we allowed them to see exactly what we wanted them to see. The primitive satellites. Their quantum camouflage projectors. Those chemical rockets. Each one carries technology that your sensors literally cannot comprehend because they operate on principles your science hasn't discovered. The archive showed the true extent of human civilization, not just on Earth, but throughout the solar system. What the hegemony had dismissed as natural formations were actually carefully constructed facades concealing vast networks of facilities. Mars isn't just a defense platform, Chen explained as the displays focused on the red planet. It's our primary manufacturing center. Those dust storms your scouts reported. Clouds of self-replicating nanomachines maintaining our facilities. The polar ice caps. Quantum computer arrays powerful enough to simulate entire universes. Mira, the survey officer, made a sound of distress. Director, she interrupted, our long-range scans show no evidence of these installations. How? Because we don't exist in quite the same reality you do, Chen replied with a gentle smile. Humanity learned to operate in what we call the underspace, a layer of reality beneath conventional spacetime. Your sensors can't detect our true civilization because they're looking in the wrong dimension. The displays showed human ships emerging from seemingly empty space, moving through reality in ways that violated every principle of physics the hegemony understood. We didn't just prepare for war, High Admiral, Chen continued. We prepared for peace. We studied every species the hegemony has encountered. We learned your languages, your cultures, your ways of thinking. We wanted to understand not just how to fight you, but how to talk to you. The archive revealed vast libraries of cultural and biological data, detailed analyses of every species in the hegemony. The humans hadn't just studied their technology, they'd studied them. Your arrival today wasn't just anticipated, it was inevitable. We've spent centuries preparing for this conversation. The question isn't whether we can defend ourselves, we've demonstrated that capability. The question is, what happens next? Zextal found his voice at last. You speak of peace, Director Chen, yet you reveal military capabilities that could destroy our entire fleet. Because in our study of your history, we learned that the hegemony respects strength above all else. We're not showing you our capabilities to threaten you, but to establish the foundation for genuine dialogue. You can't negotiate meaningfully with a species you believe to be inferior. The displays showed one final image, a map of the galaxy that made every officer on the bridge stop breathing. Scattered throughout hegemony space were thousands of points of light, each representing a hidden human installation. We're not just contained to Sol System, High Admiral. We've been watching, learning, and preparing throughout your empire. Not as invaders or spies, but as scholars and observers. Today marks the end of that observation period. Chen's expression remained calm, but her words carried unmistakable weight. The hegemony stands at a crossroads. You can choose to see us as a threat to be conquered, though I think we've demonstrated the futility of that approach. Or you can choose to see us as we truly are, a species that has mastered the art of patience, that values understanding over domination, and that is finally ready to emerge from the shadows and join the galactic community as equals. Zextal studied the human leader, understanding for the first time the true meaning of the word humility. Here was a civilization that could have conquered the hegemony at any time, yet chose to wait, to learn, to prepare for a moment of peaceful contact. What are you proposing, Director Chen? A new beginning, High Admiral. A chance to rewrite the rules of galactic civilization. Not through force or submission, but through mutual understanding and respect. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance, waiting for his response. In the tense silence that followed Director Chen's proposal, alarms suddenly blared across the Eternal Dawn's command deck. A quantum transmission had been received, Priority 1, directly from the Hegemony High Command. Zextal's secondary hearts skipped a beat as he read the message. The hegemony wasn't known for its patience or diplomacy. "Your orders, High Admiral," his tactical officer announced with clear reluctance, "are to eliminate the human threat immediately. The Council, they're deploying the extinction fleet." Before Zextal could respond, Director Chen's hologram smiled sadly. "Ah," she said, "it seems the Archon's assassins have finally made their move." The bridge crew watched in confusion as their displays shifted again, showing real-time footage from the hegemony capital world. The entire council chamber was in chaos. The Archon, supreme leader of the hegemony, lay unconscious, while security forces battled what appeared to be their own automated defense systems. "Did you really think we wouldn't anticipate this?" Chen asked quietly. "The Archon's inner circle has known about Earth for decades. They've been planning this moment, preparing to eliminate what they saw as an existential threat to their power. Unfortunately for them, we've had centuries to prepare for their preparation." New images appeared, showing the much-feared extinction fleet emerging from hyperspace at predetermined coordinates throughout hegemony space. 5,000 ships, each capable of destroying a planet. The pride of the hegemony's military might. They emerged directly into empty space. The coordinates they were given, Chen explained, were slightly adjusted. Instead of arriving in strategic positions to surround Earth, they've appeared in a rather empty sector about 300 light-years from here. It will take them approximately 2 weeks to reorient and reach us. Zextal's scales paled. "You intercepted and modified top-secret hegemony military transmissions?" "High Admiral," Chen's voice carried a note of gentle amusement, "we wrote portions of your encryption protocols. Did you never wonder why quantum communications became so reliable exactly 800 years ago? That was us, introducing backdoors into the very foundation of your secure networks." The displays showed more footage from across hegemony space. On every major world, hidden systems were activating. Not weapons, at least not conventional ones. The humans had ceded their territory with something far more devastating, the truth. Right now, every citizen in the hegemony is receiving proof of their leader's corruption. Financial records, secret directives, evidence of suppressed technologies that could have improved billions of lives, all being broadcast on channels that can't be shut down or blocked. Zextal watched as 3,000 years of carefully maintained control began to unravel. The hegemony had built its power on technological superiority and information control. In a single moment, humanity had stripped away both. "This isn't an attack," Chen continued. "It's an inoculation. Your civilization is about to experience a period of significant upheaval. The Archon and his inner circle have been removed from power, non-lethally, I should add. Their own security systems, which we designed, have placed them in suspended animation." She paused, her expression growing serious. "Now comes the critical moment, High Admiral. The extinction fleet commanders will soon realize their situation. They have standing orders to execute Protocol Zero, the complete annihilation of any civilization that threatens hegemony control. You have a choice to make." "A choice?" Zextal's voice was barely a whisper. "Yes. In exactly 10 minutes, we will reveal ourselves fully to the galaxy. Every hidden installation, every stored technology, every advancement we've kept in reserve, all of it will become public knowledge. The hegemony as you know it will cease to exist. But what replaces it, that depends partly on you." The displays showed new images, designs for technologies beyond anything the hegemony had dreamed possible. Clean energy systems that could power worlds without resource depletion. Medical advances that could extend life spans by centuries. Transportation systems that would make current space travel obsolete. "We're not conquerors, High Admiral. We're teachers. We've spent 3,000 years learning how to guide a civilization through the transition we're about to initiate. But we need partners. Leaders who can see beyond the old ways of thinking." Zextal understood then. This wasn't just a first contact situation or even a revolution. It was an evolution, carefully planned and precisely executed. The extinction fleet, he said slowly, they won't accept this change. No, Chen agreed. They won't. Which is why we need you. Your record shows a capacity for adaptation that's rare among hegemony leadership. You've questioned orders before when they conflicted with your ethical principles. That's why you were chosen for this first contact. Chosen? Zextal's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. You manipulated my assignment to this mission. We've been manipulating everything, High Admiral. For 3,000 years. The question is, will you help us ensure that manipulation leads to salvation rather than destruction? The warning klaxons continued to sound, announcing more transmissions from what remained of Hegemony Command. The extinction fleet was already beginning its calculations for a mass hyperspace jump. Zextal looked at his crew, seeing in their expressions the same realization he had reached. Everything they had believed about their civilization, their technology, their very reality, had been carefully constructed. The humans hadn't just prepared for war, they had restructured the entire galaxy to prevent one. He made his decision. I will help you, Zextal declared, his voice carrying the weight of 3 millennia of history about to change. But my crew, my people, they deserve to understand the full truth. Director Chen's hologram nodded. That's why we chose you, High Admiral. Watch. The displays surrounding the Eternal Dawn's command deck transformed one final time. But instead of showing military installations or hidden technology, they revealed something far more profound, Earth's true purpose. What you're seeing, Chen explained, isn't just our history. It's our mission. 3,000 years ago, humanity made a discovery that changed everything. We found something in the quantum substrate of reality, patterns that couldn't be natural. The universe, it seemed, had architects. The displays showed mathematical sequences that made even the ship's quantum AI struggle to process. They weren't just equations, they were signatures left in the fabric of spacetime itself. We realized we weren't the first civilization to reach this understanding. But we were, perhaps, the first to realize its true implications. The hegemony built an empire on the assumption that they were the peak of evolution. We built our future on the knowledge that we were merely the beginning. New images appeared, vast networks of installations throughout the galaxy, not just in hegemony space but beyond it. They weren't weapons or defense systems, they were research stations, observation posts, and something more. These facilities, Chen continued, are nodes in what we call the Awakening Network. For 3,000 years, we've been preparing the galaxy not just for contact with humanity, but for contact with what lies beyond our universal boundary. Zextal's scales shifted color in shock. Beyond our universe. The patterns we found weren't just signatures. They were instructions. A test, if you will. Every civilization that discovers them faces the same choice: will they use this knowledge for dominion over others, or will they recognize it as an invitation to something greater? The displays showed new data, impossible structures at the edges of known space. The humans hadn't just been hiding their technology, they'd been building something vast, something that defied conventional understanding. The hegemony's empire, Chen said gently, was never the true power in this galaxy. It was a developmental stage, a chrysalis. We've spent 3,000 years carefully guiding your civilization toward this moment, ensuring you would be ready when the time came. Suddenly, every quantum device in hegemony space activated simultaneously. On thousands of worlds, billions of beings received the same revelation, the discovery of the patterns, the evidence of universe architects, and humanity's long vigil as guardians of this knowledge. The extinction fleet, Zextal realized, they were never a real threat, were they? No, Chen smiled. Their weapons, like all hegemony technology, were built using principles we introduced. They can't fire without our permission. In fact, they're receiving this same revelation right now. Every ship, every facility, Every quantum-enabled device in the galaxy is part of the Awakening Network. The displays showed the Extinction Fleet's commanders receiving the transmission, their reactions ranging from shock to awe as 3,000 years of carefully constructed reality fell away. "This isn't an invasion or a revolution," Chen explained. "It's graduation day. Humanity didn't hide our advancement because we feared the hegemony. We hid because we were tasked with being your teachers, your guides. We had to let you develop at your own pace while ensuring you didn't destroy yourselves before reaching this moment." New data streamed across the displays, plans for technologies that would transform civilization overnight. But they weren't weapons or tools of control. They were keys to understanding the universe's deeper nature. "The choice before you now, High Admiral, isn't about surrender or resistance. It's about acceptance. Will you help your people understand that everything they've known was preparation for something greater? That the hegemony wasn't the end of evolution, but a stepping stone?" Zextal looked at his crew, seeing in their expressions the same mix of fear and wonder he felt. Everything they had believed about their place in the universe had been carefully constructed, not to control them, but to prepare them. "The patterns," he said slowly, "what do they lead to?" Chen's hologram smiled, and for a moment, Zextal saw something ancient and vast in her eyes. "They lead to the next stage of universal evolution." The architects left more than instructions, they left an invitation. Humanity has spent 3,000 years preparing the galaxy for first contact with something far beyond our comprehension. The displays showed one final image, a structure at the edge of known space, built over millennia by humanity's hidden efforts. It wasn't a weapon or a shield, it was a door. "Now," Chen said, "with the hegemony's transformation complete, we can finally begin the real work. The patterns are activating, High Admiral. The architects are returning. And thanks to our preparation, this galaxy will meet them not as conquered subjects or primitive children, but as worthy inheritors of their legacy." Zextal stood on his command deck, watching as 3,000 years of human patience and planning culminated in a moment that would transform not just the galaxy, but reality itself. The true first contact was about to begin.